Good job, Rod. So do you want to start with, I thought Loretta could just kind of kick it off tonight. And
I basically just wanted to thank you all, first of all, for coming and welcoming me here. And I wanted to let you know how I met Toni. I actually met her at a mixer, and we just kind of clicked right away and talked about some ideas, what she does and what I do, and we kind of wanted to merge them together. I've always kind of like wanted to do something like this as far as like makeovers. That's why I'm in the business. I used to make over my friends in school and stuff like that. But I care about people beyond just the superficial and the outside of people and stuff. And with being in this business for as long as I've been in, you run across women that we talk about diet, we talk about all these different things and stuff. And just sometimes just writing, like what we're doing tonight, just talking about, whatever, we have these conversations and stuff. And so she's a professional and she's, knows what she's talking about. And I just really connected with her and I'm really excited about, what we're doing. I think it's going to grow and it's a good thing. It's like, this is something we see done on TV all the time and we just watch, but we wanted to put something in action and actually bring it to where we live and right here where we're at. And stuff, and so we just made it happen. We set a date back in October.
We did.
And we
planned
just
well
said
in advance.
Do it and stuff, and so we're doing it. And she's had personal experiences with some of the things that I've had personal experience about, and tragedies and stuff like that. And we just want to make a difference, in the lives that we touch every day. I touch women every day. And she works with people and stuff like that. And I'm inspired by her because she had her tragedies, and then she didn't just sink in it. She came up out of it, did something about it, and started making change in other people's lives and doing something for other people. And so that inspires me and it motivates me to make a difference and not just be here, but make a difference and stuff. So I am so glad I met Toni.
Thank you. That is just so sweet. Thank you so much.
And I feel like you guys probably already have gotten to know her just from sitting here, but I do have a bio. Can I read the bio?
Please do. How did you get my bio? I made it the short one. Those long ones sound like I was really full of myself. So.
Well, I've talked to many people about what already and stuff, so they kind of know you. But I
okay, that's great. All right.
Stuff, so. It says Toni is an accomplished professional lifestyle and nutrition coach who reinvented herself after surviving a serious illness. It is her passion to inspire others to make incremental lifestyle changes through nutrition that is sustainable for life. As a 50-something mom of 4, she leads by example and has empowered thousands of people through her proven techniques, tools, and meal solutions published in her recent book entitled Bite Me, Change Your Life at one bite at a time. Her recipes and clean cooking style have been adopted by families wanting to improve the quality of their lives, as well as how they look and feel. And restaurants and hospitals have incorporated her recipes to improve their food quality offerings. Toni earned a bachelor's degree from San Jose State, her IBNFC nutrition coach certification, and a personal training certification through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. As a personal challenge, she participated in natural, natural?
It's natural.
Yeah, I was going to say natural. Natural figure competitions and tied for the first place. At her age. So
at 48.
Yeah, and in her book, you'll see it. She looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Well,
inspirational.
Why I did it is that I wanted to demonstrate that it's never too late to make changes. You can always improve your wellness bar, improve your fitness, make better choices with food, and it does make a difference. I did it because of the challenge of it. It was icing. Being healthy and well is number one paramount priority.
Right.
But then when you can do something and actually say, you know what, this is I could raise to that level. It was just purely for the challenge. I was incredibly shy, so even being in a bathing suit at the beach was too much for me to get on stage in a Swarovski crystal string, a little something, lots of crystals. I think there's a picture. There's a picture here. The point is that I went way out of my box to do this. I was so uncomfortable, and sometimes you have to push yourself, and you have to put yourself in situations where you are uncomfortable. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're never going to change.
Right, that's true.
It's just not logical to think that you can do the same thing and expect a different outcome. It just doesn't happen. So the reason for my butterfly, you know, the butterfly was on the great, the bumper that Rod did, is it just represents change. It represents being able to modify yourself and kind of start anew, which is what I did, you know, 5 years ago or so. So thank you all for being here, and I think it's in the spirit of the new year. I think that we all can hope and expect things to change for the better this year. I mean, we all have things in our lives we'd like to improve, so we can do that. It's certainly possible. So give me just a moment. I'm going to cue up my little presentation. I want to go through some information to give you a little bit of background on my program. It's not deprivational. It's not a typical diet at all, but it's just tools that you can use to make some sustainable lifestyle changes. Okay, and you can adopt however much you want to of it. But we'll go ahead and go through that, and then I want to talk to you about the Life Changer Challenge, which is a challenge I've done with my clients for about 4 years. And this year we're actually going to have a team, which is going to be really fun, teams competing against each other. And it's just all about making changes for the better. And then I have a food product. It's a high-protein oatmeal that I developed a couple of years ago that's doing very well. Actually, Larita eats it. Yes, it's down here. Right, so we can do a little taste testing if you like, and go from there. So let me get this queued up. Okay, so the topic tonight is 3 easy steps to a new you. Can you see all right? You're not going to be able to see very well. I just want to make sure you can see. Maybe I can stand right here. Well, except for the computer. All right. Okay. Maybe we can turn the dryer on for her, too. So 3 easy steps. We can all do 3 easy things, right? Doesn't sound that hard. To a new you. All right. So we talked a little bit about what is a lifestyle change. It's about making incremental choices that become sustainable. So if you make a good choice, if you're deciding between 2 things, you make a good choice, that good choice becomes your behavior eventually. It becomes your habit, and then it just becomes your way of thinking. So it's not like you have to do something restrictive. It's just eventually becomes your lifestyle. So how many of you are pretty healthy eaters? Like if you thought about habits that you have, are you desserts, or how many of you eat breakfast in the morning? A few of you? Okay, that's good. How many of you have had like pizza or Cokes or wine or chocolate? Any of that this week? A little bit?
For breakfast?
For breakfast, no, just in general. Pizza for breakfast, yeah. So, you know, they're all things that we can do to improve how we eat. We all know that. We know when we're eating something that's not optimal for us that we're doing that. But it's a matter of really being conscious about it. And once you start to kind of wrap your mind around making good choices, then it just becomes habit. It just becomes much, much easier. So my question to you is, how do you want to design your life as you move on in your years? You know, do you want to be frail and elderly and not strong and fighting disease, or somebody that's strong and vibrant? So can you guess how old the woman is on the left and the woman on the right? Any ideas? Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's 90, and the woman on the left?
Probably the same.
You're right.
She's 90.
You're right. Jennifer's right. They're the same age.
No.
Yes.
I know her.
So my point in showing this to you is there's a sharp contrast between how you want to be and how you can end up, depending upon a lot of different things. Some are within our control, some are not. Certainly, some certain diseases are not. But if you can affect, change in your life through nutrition and eating well and exercise, so you can design your life to have a better outcome, then that's really ideal. Big difference. So lifestyle changes are very unique to everybody. They're as unique as you are. So if you came to me and you said, look, I really want to raise my wellness bar and step it up and do certain things, what I would suggest to you would be totally different than I would suggest to Christine. You would have totally different sets of circumstances. The end result is the same, but maybe the things that you want to start with, is pick one thing that's going to make the most significant impact to your particular life. So we have 3 people here. The first one, Gail, is, these are actual people who are my clients, but I've changed their pictures and changed their names just to give them privacy. But these are actual situations where Gail wanted to lose 25 pounds. She was menopausal. Any of you menopausal? Yeah, several. Okay, that happens. Had a lot of stress in her life. She ate a lot of highly fattening foods, nuts and things that had sweet cravings at night. Do many of you have sweet cravings? Ice cream is sweet cravings. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. And she went long periods of time between meals, and she drank often. And those things aren't so bad in themselves, but every little thing over time adds up. She would travel on business, so that would make it pretty difficult for her to find healthy food when she was out in hotels and things. And she did do exercise, but she had problems. She had blood sugar lows. She had cravings all the time. Because she drank, she would get low blood sugar and not feel well a couple of days later. And when I evaluated her nutrition, if you look at the actual foods that a person eats and you add them up, about half of her calories came from fat, which is really high. It should only be about 20, 25% at the most. So if you look at kind of the balance of foods that you get, she was really not eating optimally for herself. So what we did is we eliminated the calorie-dense foods. Those are foods that are like nuts and dried fruits, things that are very highly caloric. Non-calorie-dense foods would be vegetables because there are hardly any calories and they're really bulky, lots of fiber, lots of water in it. So when I say calorie-dense, it means the more fattening foods. She incorporated more exercise, and then we had her combine her nutrients to minimize her blood sugar. So she would eat something sugary and her blood sugar would go up, and then she would not eat for many, many hours, and then her blood sugar would go down, and it just made her feel poorly. And then we had her also eat a lot of greens to help minimize the hot flashes. It's amazing how all the vegetables definitely help with menopause. Then we had Renee, and Renee came to me, and she typically people journal and they show me the foods that they eat. And I looked at her foods and I said, where are the real foods here? It was supplement after some supplement and green matcha tea and lots of vitamins and things. But I said, where's the real food? There was maybe one serving of chicken or something in the whole day, and she was relying very heavily on supplements. And a supplement is just that. It's a supplement to your food. It should not take the place of real food, right? Her diet was, moderately healthy, but she ate a lot of really simple carbohydrates like white rice and white bread and things like that. She had slow thyroid. I don't know if many of you have had your thyroid checked. That's a real common problem. So what we did is I thought that she was eating too many carbs. Her pH balance was off. You know how a pool has a certain pH value, and it's how alkaline or acidic you are? She was very, very acid, and she just wasn't really eating the kinds of foods to keep her body balanced. So we wanted to check that as well. So again, the calorie-dense foods we eliminated, reduced the supplementation, and what I like to do is I have people do lab work first. So rather than say, take a lot of vitamin D and a lot of vitamin C and a lot of all these supplements, is what is your body lacking? Is it lacking those things? Are you low on potassium? You never know until you get your blood work checked. So do any of you do that regularly? Get checked? How did it turn out?
Well, I know I'm low on vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
My good cholesterol is high, which is good.
Yes.
But my bad cholesterol is also high.
Oh, it's high too.
It's really high.
Okay, yeah. So the way to lower your bad cholesterol is eat more of the HDLs, like the olive oils and avocado and flaxseed, and it helps lower your HDL. So those are things you don't know until you get lab work. So until you know what your body needs, rather than load up with supplementation, it's good to kind of have that base of knowledge. And then lastly, we have Lori. She wanted to lose weight, but she was really frustrated. She worked out consistently, hours a day. She didn't eat very much at home. She didn't like to cook. She ate out at restaurants mostly. And she was really frustrated. She didn't know what was wrong. She thought, well, I'm hardly eating. Why am I not losing weight? Well, you know, you can undereat and over-exercise, and that will throw your balance off too. So it's not always, you know, what we've learned is, you know, fewer calories equal lower weight. That's really not always the case. You have to give your body what it needs so your hormones can function properly, and your body can start working, and you start moving more, and then you can get into better balance. You know, when you eat at restaurants too, you underestimate how many calories is really in that food. And there have actually been reports that show that even restaurants like, say, for example, Taco Bell, that have standard menus where the chef's not modifying things, those foods have been sent off to labs, and it was 50% off in terms of the calories that those restaurants reported. So even if it says that, even if you take the effort to look at the menu and ask what is the nutritional value of this, it could still be off. So you just have to kind of be careful. Eating at home is a lot better. So she actually started doing a little more preparation on her own, making her own meals, but kept it very, very simple. And the calories consumption was actually very low. So she should have been dropping weight, but she was under eating. So we had to bring up her calories a little bit, like by a couple of hundred calories a week at a time, until she built up to where she was breaking even. Then we dropped her down, and then she lost weight. It's interesting because, you know, it goes against what we think we know about eating. But you can absolutely undereat and overexercise, and it throws your body into this survival mode of wanting to hold on to the fat. So actually, the more you eat consistently small meals, your body will start to function better. It's not something we've grown up knowing, you know, but it is really the way it works. So the 3 easy steps, number 1 is to build your metabolism. We're going to talk about that. How to improve your food quality and the quantity. So those are the 3 things that we can do. You know, there's a lot in our lives we can't control, right? A lot of things happen. We talked about crisis and trauma and things like that, and there are periods of our time that we really can't do anything about how other people behave. We can't do things about things that happen in our lives, but we can control what we put in our mouths. That we can. It might take a little planning, but we can. And so if we can work on these 3 things, it's amazing how it will just all come together, and your body will start functioning really optimally. So the first one is building your metabolism. And I have here some models, and I wanted to show you that this is a replica of a pound of fat, okay? And this is a replica of a pound of muscle. Yeah. So what we want to do is change your body composition and build more muscle and lose fat, okay? This on your body burns, muscle's an organ. It burns about 50 calories a day, up to it. They say between 35 and 50. They're different conflicting reports. Fat, on the other hand, only burns about 2 calories a day. So which would you rather have on your body? Would you rather have something like this, right? Or something like this? Or something like this, or something like this. Not so attractive, right? But if you eat well, what's going to happen is the high quality food, it fuels your body, okay? Gives you the nutrition you need, gives you the right kind of calories you need. Then when you start doing any sort of resistance training, your own body or weights, you start building muscle, okay? You get enough protein, you build muscle. And then once you start moving your muscle, this is what burns calories. So that's the concept to understand, is that this doesn't burn calories, this is storage. This is what burns calories on your body. So the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism is going to be. A person who, as I did a figure competition, and in a short period of time, I put about 6 pounds of muscle In 8 weeks, actually, I put 6 pounds of muscle on my body. So because this can burn about 50 calories a day, I had to eat 300 calories more every single day to break even. Just to fuel the muscle on my body. Does that make sense? So if you lose muscle, say you go on a yo-yo diet and you deprive yourself and you're eating 800 calories a day for 2 weeks, and you're going to lose muscle because you're not getting enough nutrition to support it. Okay, say you lost 6 pounds of muscle and 6 pounds of fat. Well, you would have to eat 300 calories less every day than when you started. Otherwise, you'd gain weight. So it's really important to hold on to your muscle. Get the protein you need. Do your resistance training. It's really good, especially as women, as we get older, to build up your bones, make you stronger, is the muscle. So it's really all right here. This is just storage for this, okay? I can put that down. And I wanted to share with you, this is a story about Ana Castro. She's one of my clients, and I consider her a real success story because at 56, she came to me. She was not happy with herself. She was very deconditioned. She didn't feel well. She had fatigue. She had migraines frequently. She was getting hot flashes, those menopausal feelings. She thought she was about 20 pounds overweight, and she said, "Toni, I'm just not comfortable in my own skin, and I just don't want to be this way. What do I need to do?" So we did a body fat test. We had what we call the dunk, hydrostatic immersion test when you're weighed underwater, and she came out to be 33% body fat, which is pretty average for most women that are, a little bit overweight. So she thought that because of her age, that she felt that way, that was the way that she was supposed to feel, and there wasn't anything that she could do about it. But really, in 8 weeks, she went through an 8-week challenge with me, and she met with me once a week. And we talked about what she needed to do, and she followed my book. She complied with it 100%. She did everything she was supposed to do. In fact, the first couple of weeks, she was losing 3 or 4 pounds a week, and I said, that's way too fast. 2 pounds a week max. You need to actually increase your calories, because she was exercising and she was eating completely clean, completely right, eating out of the book. And I wanted her to slow it down, and the reason is, when your calories are too low, you're going to start losing muscle, and we don't want to lose muscle. So about 2 pounds a week is really, 1 to 2 pounds is a healthy way to lose. So she went through the program. This has been a couple of years now, and she's maintained her weight. She still has some menopausal symptoms, but they're really minimized, which is good. And she's now at 18% body fat and 118 pounds. And she looks amazing. She's really done a great job with herself. So she changed 8 percentage points in 8 weeks, which is a lot. Usually 2 or 3 is considered to be good. I don't know, can all of you see this very well? This is the body fat test that I was talking about. And here we have a couple of different things. This is body fat percentage. So she went from almost 33% body fat down to 18% body fat. And it took about 6 months total. She went from 140 pounds down to 118 pounds. And this is the part that's interesting. You can see how all these curves, all these bars are along the same, are trending the same. And here her fat mass is down, so she lost fat. And what's different, what's unique, is that when you feed your body the way it's meant to be fed, you don't under-deprive it. What happens is, typically if a person lost, like she lost 20 pounds, normally if she went on a deprivational diet, she would have lost 10 pounds of fat and 10 pounds of muscle. But we don't want to lose muscle. We want to hold on to all of our muscle. What she did, because of the way she ate, she actually gained lean mass, she gained muscle, and and she lost fat. So most people do this, and because of her eating, she held on to it, which meant that her metabolism increased. She had a little bit more muscle, she lost only fat. So that's the real goal. So the second step is improving food quality, right? Doesn't that look good, that salmon?
I can do that.
That looks yummy. That's one of my favorite meals is salmon with quinoa and brown rice. So, so good. So if you improve, we'll get into quality and quantity of food, but if you improve, the reason why it's important, if you improve your food, you're going to have happy blood sugar. Now, that's not really a medical term, obviously, happy blood sugar. It's just what I call it. And that is your blood sugar. You've all heard of insulin, right? Are you familiar with the basic premise of blood sugar? Well, a healthy range is this green band right here. So it's between 80 milligrams per deciliter and 120 milligrams. This is normal blood sugar in here. Now, if you go above it, you're considered to be hypoglycemic. And if you're low, I'm sorry, hyper, and hypo if your blood sugar is low. So say you get up in the morning. This is the way I used to eat, this white dotted line. I used to get up in the morning and not have breakfast. So blood sugar is already low. And then I would eat a lean cuisine for lunch, 300 calories, high sodium, not very nutritious. And then by the time I got home, my blood sugar was so low because I was so low on calories all day long that I felt terrible that I would eat almost anything by the end of the night. I'd come home ravished, right? So I would eat my lasagna and my wine, and then I would get into, I'm like, okay, that's still not enough calories because I've been down here most of the day. So my body is trying to self-medicate. So what do I want? I want simple carbohydrates. I want foods that will convert to sugar in my system really fast. I want wine, and then I'm here, you know, the wine, and then the tortilla chips, and then the chocolate chips, and then eventually I'd hit the brandy. That was my life. And the next day, that was dessert. And the next day I felt horrible, and you could see why, right? Ideally, what you want to do, though, is you want to eat 5 small meals a day. So say your target is like 1,600 calories a day. You're going to break that up. 300 calories for breakfast, 300 for a morning snack, 300 for lunch, 300 for an afternoon snack, 300 for dinner. If you do that, that's about 1,500 calories, right? And you probably would need more than that. But if you do that, what happens is your blood sugar stays regulated. You have a small amount of food, your body's burning it, it doesn't shoot up. And the way our bodies work is that in these 2 zones here, just imagine like you're going down a stream, and that's your healthy blood sugar. You're going down a stream in a canoe, and there are people on all the edges, and there's 2 hormones. One's called insulin that you've all heard of, right? That's what kicks in when your blood sugar is too high. There's another hormone on the other side of the bank called glucagon, and that's what is another hormone that's trying to raise your blood sugar because your body wants so badly for you to stay in balance. It has 2 hormones to keep you in balance, okay? And they're working all the time. But when we eat improperly, we're giving our bodies a really hard time, right? And that's why some people develop diabetes and insulin, what is that called? Insulin, what is that? Resistance. Thank you. But that's what happens. So if you're eating smaller meals throughout the day, your blood sugar is going to be regulated, and you'll feel good. And what happens is once you start regulating your blood sugar, and if you get cravings, sugars, you have ice cream at night sometimes, right? You get cravings like, oh, okay, dinner was good, but I need a little something sweet. Those go away. Okay, you give your body what it needs when it needs it, and then all of a sudden you don't have the salty cravings, those kind of things. You don't have any of you get like hormonal bloating and cravings and cramps. That goes away too when you feed your body what you need. So when we talk about food quality, the way I think about food quality is the nutritional value of the food and the variety that you're getting. So if you could choose a wide variety of fruits and vegetables, like make your plate look like a Van Gogh work of art. Lots of colors, violet eggplant, yellow squash, red tomatoes, orange carrots. Think about all the colors that there are in fruits. And then you're getting the most nutritional variety. And then when you choose your foods, rather than anything fried or sauteed in butter, always think about baked or broiled or grilled foods. Those are going to be your healthiest, cleanest foods. Eating out at restaurants, like I mentioned before, it's very hard to tell what you're getting. And so, the chefs they're there to make sure that your food tastes good. And what's going to make it taste good? Lots of butter, right? Lots of salt, sugar, whatever it takes. So those go out. Those are against this too. So if we can avoid sugars and alcohols, that is ideal. And eating whole grains, so staying away, I'm sure you've all heard this before, but staying away from the white rice and the white mashed potatoes and things, and going to foods that are going to break down slower in your body. So like quinoa and brown rice, it has more nutrients. It's harder for your body to digest it. So it doesn't make your insulin level spike. It keeps you nice and even in that blood sugar zone. You all heard of My Plate at this point in time? The new government program takes the place of the food pyramid. And yeah, I believe in this concept. Half your plate should be fruits and vegetables. That's what I like about this. And some protein. So the quantity has to do with how much you eat and when you eat and how you combine your foods. So we talked about eating 5 meals a day that are just small. It helps regulate your blood sugar. If you can not go long periods of time without eating, that helps too, because if you go into that low blood sugar, what happens is your body's going to start going after the muscle for the glycogen stores, for the sugars in your muscle, because your blood sugar is low. So it's going to start going after the only supply, because the main goal is to keep your brain fed with carbohydrates, right? Your brain and your heart, your major organs that are functioning. And so if your body doesn't have it, it's going to go somewhere else for it. If it's not in your diet, if it's not in your blood, it's going to go after your muscle. Your blood sugar goes low, you lose muscle, your metabolism drops. So I'm an advocate of eating a good balance of protein and complex carbohydrates and healthy fat. So these are the percentage of calories for combining. And the reason that this works so well is that I've done a lot of research in the area of food satiety, and it keeps you full for a long period of time if you combine your foods this way. So if you ever had mid-morning snack, you have an apple or a bowl of Special K or cereal or something, and then an hour later you're hungry. And it's because it was just carbohydrate. And it burns really, really quickly, and then it's out of your body. It doesn't have any staying power. So an apple by itself. So instead of eating an apple by itself, eat it with a yogurt, right? So you get some protein. So it's combining things in a meal that keeps you full. Apples are great. Fruit's great, but you also need a protein with it, okay? So this is what I was talking about in terms of balancing out your calories. Is say here, an average woman would eat 250 to 350 calories per meal. If you eat 5 times a day, that's only 1,600 calories. Most of us burn that without even exercising. So it's a very realistic, kind of simple way is to just kind of break up your food. So rather than skipping breakfast and eating a big lunch, or eating a small lunch and not having an afternoon snack and eating a huge dinner, right? We want to just kind of even it out throughout the day. Men, of course, can eat a lot more. They have more muscle mass than women. So this is an idea of what a daily menu would look like of about 1,500 calories. Is you have a breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, and dinner, so that you have healthy food. So like the dinner, mixed green salads with chicken breast or salmon or whatever, but you've got the balance of carbs and proteins and the healthy fats in there. And in my book, if you decide you want to do, we'll talk about the Life Changer Challenge. If you decide you want to do that, it does come with my book as part of the package. And in the book, a way to make sure you get everything you need is I've done all the work here. I've taken all the ingredients and designed all the recipes. And in every single meal, you get the right balance. So here, protein is 27%, almost 30%, carbs and fat. You have a nice balance in every recipe. So instead of trying to think, okay, am I getting all the protein I need and all the carbs I need, is that you could literally just eat out of the book and have that work done for you. That's one way, and I call them meal solutions. And the other way is through meal planning. This is in the book also, where we have several different categories of food. So say you want to, you're a pretty simple eater. You're going to have a piece of fish, or you're going to have a vegetable or some quinoa. Category 1 that's highlighted here in the green, those are all proteins. So it just gives you an idea. So rather than calorie count, one serving is going to be about 150 calories. So you say, okay, that's 150. My budget for this meal is going to be 325. What else do I need? Then you say, okay, I have my protein picked. Then I'm going to go to category 2. And these are carbohydrates, and these are all fruits. You can have a fruit from this category, and they're all roughly about 100 calories each. Not exactly, but it helps not to have to calorie count. Here we have carbohydrates, and these are vegetables, okay? Or you could choose something from that category. Those are only about 50 calories per cup, so not dense at all. You know, you want to add those for certain. And then your grains here and your beans are so nutritious, and these have protein in them too, but they're considered carbohydrates. So you could pick something from that. So say 150, category 1, a lean protein, and then you could take maybe 1 cup of or half cup of the grain, that's another 100 calories, and then you have a vegetable, you're up to about 300 calories. So you can pick. So it's kind of a different way of thinking. Instead of going to the refrigerator and saying, should I have this extra chow mein that's left over? That's what my appetite's telling me. That sounds like that'd be really yummy, but you know, remove yourself a little bit and think, what does my body need? My body needs better balance. So do I want the chow mein, or am I going to have the yogurt with an apple? What's the better choice? So if you can get out of the mode of just responding to what your body feels like, there's a difference between appetite and hunger. And appetite is what sounds good to you. What do I feel like eating? And hunger is, I'll eat anything, I'm hungry. So if you think less of the appetite and more of the hunger mode, what does my body need? I need nourishment and I'm hungry. You'll make better decisions. Then the last category here, this is the fats category. And here are the omega-3s like the olive oil and the avocado, you know, nuts and seeds. Those things all have really good healthy fats that you need. And we talked a little bit earlier about if you have high LDL, I call it the lousy cholesterol, you want to increase these fats because it'll lower your cholesterol. It'll have a really positive effect on your lipids. So that's useful. And you know, all fats, whether it's peanut butter, almond butter, olive oil, they're all going to be about 100 calories per tablespoon. Calorie dense, right? So when you're deciding on what you want to eat, you want to say, okay, I do need oils in my diet. I don't need it every meal, but I'm going to have maybe incorporated a little bit into my day, a couple tablespoons a day or so. It's a nice balance. It'll keep you full for longer, right? An apple with some peanut butter or something. And then category 6 is all the spices. Those are free. You can eat as much as those if you want. Mustard. I don't know how they make mustard without calories, but it's next to nothing. Here's a little health bite, which is a 20-second rule of convenience. And you know how you see friends a lot if they live right next door, but if they move away, you don't really pick up the phone even, right? Well, it's the rule of convenience. We live in a convenient society. You know, we choose foods because they're accessible. And that's why we do all the fast foods, and we don't cook as much because it takes more time. But if you use this 20-second rule, you make the foods that are unhealthier for you, your unhealthy habits, make it 20 seconds harder to get to it. So if that means you need to go take your Lay's potato chips and go put it in your trunk in the car and go hide your keys, if you have to go find your keys, put your slippers on, go into the garage, go into the trunk, get the potato chips, you'll probably change your mind. Or if you have to get out a little step ladder, but you won't, will you? You'll say, it's worth the effort. Or say, you know, you put them on a high shelf in your pantry and you've got to get out your step ladder and you've got to go move things around and dig around and go find something, you might give up. But if you make your bad habits, think about your bad habits, make it 20 seconds harder, then think about what are the things that you want to do. Like, I think I want to stretch at night in front of the TV. I watch TV anyway. Put a little exercise mat out and leave it there. Like, oh, I'll just go stretch. I don't have to go do anything. I just sit there and stretch. So, you know, make those things more accessible for you. So if you want like a healthy snack and, you know that you love sliced fruit and fruit salads, isn't it all amazing? I always wished I had some chef in my kitchen chopping things up for me. That's my fantasy, fruits and vegetables chopped at a whim, right? But if we did that for ourselves when we had the time and put it in the refrigerator, it'd be like, well, what's in the refrigerator? You look, and you think, okay, I either have those, you know, nasty high sugar protein bars in my cabinet, or I've got fresh red bell peppers. How delicious with some hummus. Sounds great. You're going to eat that. So just trying to make things 20 seconds easier for you. Even packing your gym bag the night before, right? So you don't have to think, oh, I've got to get it together. I've got to pack it up. It's too much overhead. I don't feel like it. Do it the night before and say, you know what? Tomorrow my plan is I'm going to the gym. Well, if your bag's packed, it makes it easier. It's less of a hurdle. Okay, we talked about alcohol earlier. In fact, we even had some. Right? Say happy hour or not. This is something some of you may or may not know, but I had this big epiphany when my sister one day came up to me and she said, do you know that vodka has no calories? Because it's clear. And she's a smart woman.
Really bright gal.
Very bright gal. Smart woman. But we all grew up with things that, oh, my friend told me that, so it must be true. Well, not always. So I think it's a misconception. Alcohol has no carbohydrates, but it's still calories, okay? So protein, so any kind of protein, fish or whatever, it goes by weight per gram, so it's about 4 calories per gram, okay? Carbohydrates, your fruits, your vegetables, your beans, whatever, also 4 calories per gram. Get to alcohol, it's 7 calories per gram. So pound for pound, it's more dense in terms of calories, and we talk about calorie-dense foods. Fat is 9 calories per gram, 9 calories per gram, okay? So you can see that alcohol is almost as fattening as fat. If you put it in those terms, it's only 2 calorie difference per gram. So what we want to do is load up on the protein and the carbs and minimize the alcohol and the fat if we want to drop weight, okay? Yeah, Scotch, vodka, and gin, 0 carbohydrates, but does have calories, 7 grams. They're all pretty high. So one thing about alcohol is that it can actually affect your blood sugar level even 2 days later. It'll drop your blood sugar because it's not metabolized the same way as carbohydrates. Our body doesn't recognize alcohol. It's more of a foreign substance to us. That's why we get kind of drunk if we drink too much of it. So we store it away as fat, and it actually has a bad effect on our blood sugar. Even 2 days later, you can get blood sugar drops. You can feel the effects of it, even though it's essentially out of your system. So as much as I love red wine, and I do indulge in it occasionally, there is a way to drink. We talked about that a little earlier too. And that is that if you want to go out to a nice dinner and enjoy a glass of wine, by all means, we should not deprive ourselves. And everybody else is at the table having a glass of wine, and we're going to sit there with our iced tea or whatever, right? So what I've done, where it doesn't really seem to have that much of an effect, is from the menu, you order your protein. So you have your salmon, say, for example, and then maybe you have a baked potato or something. That's your carbohydrate. Instead of having that baked potato, that glass of wine replaces the carbohydrates, replaces the calories, but then have vegetables, even though it's a carbohydrate.
So it's like salmon and salad and vegetables.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Just not the heavier, those carbohydrates, if you remember from that chart, they're 200 calories per cup, and a cup of vegetables is only 50 calories per cup. So it's 4 times more calorie dense than a vegetable. So you need all the benefits of the vegetables. So you're great to load up on those in the salad and just watch the dressing, right? Put your own oil and vinegar on it or whatever. But anyway, that's the kind of way to do it without it really affecting you. If you have a couple glasses of wine and I just had a handful of almonds and that was your dinner, that's really depriving yourself nutritionally of what you need. And then you'll be hungry later anyway. And you'll want to eat again, right? That's the habit. So we're doing a drawing. It's called the Life Changer Drawing, and I'm offering a free month at it's called the Booty Club, where you get a better booty. It's all personalized training for women, and it's in this neighborhood. So we're doing a drawing for that tonight, as well as a signed book and an hour of personal nutrition and lifestyle coaching with me. So there are forms at the back of the room if you'd like to enter. And these are some pictures of my ladies that we work out with. Very nice, fun group of people, very supportive. And then the challenge that we were talking about earlier is an 8-week program where you're pretty much kind of left to doing some body fat testing. So tonight is the kickoff for Team LK Salon, yes, Team LK. There's also a Team Toni, and Jan's on my team along with 8 other people. And what we're going to do is the teams are going to compete against each other. And it's not about being hardcore. We're just all going to do the best we can do. The goal is to have fun with it. Okay, so just start making better choices, move your body more. If you can exercise, by all means, go on hikes and walks and just start making good, raising your level of nutrition and wellness. And we're going to do a body fat test a week from today, and it's going to be held at my office. And then we'll do another one in 8 weeks. And it's all based on body composition. So our goal is to build muscle and lose fat. And the team that has the average, collective results of the team wins. Plus, we're going to take the top 3 people. And do you want to talk about what we're going to do? It's really exciting. Once we get our body together.
Our dynamics.
Yes.
LK is going to offer a makeover, makeup, some hair, whether it be different color, different cut, and then we're going to have a party at the end and a reveal night. So it will be like a major before and after that we're going to do with a picture and then the different hair and different body and different numbers and all that stuff. Inches, everything.
Good. Do it all. Yeah. And I think the good thing is that it's going to make us feel good. No matter, even if we make a little bit of progress, it's progress. So typically people are getting less conditioned as they get older. And they're putting on more weight, not eating as well. We're losing muscle mass. That's the trend, is we're going this way. If we can even that out and just stop that progression, that's progress. If we can make even more change and improve our body composition, that's phenomenal, right? So this is just a way for us to really wrap our heads around it. We'll feel better. Our diets will be better. I think our skin and our nails, all that. Hair will grow. Do you know how often I have to get my hair colored? A lot. Rod. Would you like to join the challenge, Rod? Right on. So that's what it's about. And then, the top 3, the people who do, regardless of the team, the top 3 people, Larita is going to do her makeover, which is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. It'll be fun for everybody. And then we'll have an event, a kind of a reveal event. I'm going to actually host that in my home, big backyard. It'll be beautiful. We'll have lots of healthy food. You can bring some of the muffins out of my book if you want, or some healthy hummus or whatever. We'll have a good time, and then we'll, if you're agreeable, we can put you on my website, and if you want to be in a future edition of my book, we're working on the next one, if you like, but you don't have to. So it's all fun and meant to be encouraging and things like that. So.